Now, Brandy, we've been looking forward to this all week. Throwback Thursday has become one of the most popular segments. Before we introduce our guest and play the intro, Darren Clark is who we're talking to today, former 400-metre runner, twice fourth at the Olympics. But going all the way back, you told me earlier this week you believe you ran against Darren Clark. Tell us that story. So he's on hold now. He can have a listen to this.
Well, he wouldn't have known that he was running against me because I wasn't running a place, but I did a little athletics out at Penrith, and I remember going down to AEST Marks Field there in Botany and running, and I remember clearly there was a boy that ran for Ryde, and there was a boy that ran for Botany, and I remember his last name was Hannah, and I remember Clark.
Right.
Now I think I was 12, Vossy. I think I was 12.
Wow. We're going way back here.
I remember these two boys just being like so much quicker than everyone else there. Like we thought we were pretty quick, but we not in the same class as.
Wow.
And this is as a 12-year-old. Now he might dispel this. My memory might be haywire.
No,
but anyway,
Alexander. Were you that kid 200 metres behind me? Darren Clark, twice fourth at Olympics, a gold medalist at the Auckland Commonwealth Games 1990. Let's do it. Throwback Thursday and replay that run. Gold medal winning run from 1990.
On Breakfast with Vossy and Brandy. Throwback Thursday.
In lane number 1 is Stone from Australia. Grant Gilbert, the New Zealander, is in 2. Garner in 3. Couture from Kenya in 4. Bennett in 5. Clark, the Australian, in 6. Kipcomboy Boy in 7. Morris in 8. And Wanzia, the Kenyan, in lane number 8. And it's Darren Clark, the first to show out. Grant Gilbert running well down on the inside. The 3 Australians and the 3 Kenyans as they come to the 200-metre mark. The action should be on the outer lanes of the track. And the Kenyans starting to make their move now. Kipcomboy Boy takes off with just under 200 metres of the race to go. But tracking him every stride is Darren Clark. This is going to be a super lineup as they come off the bend here. Who will run the best bend? Will it be Clark or will it be Kipcomboy? As they line up for the run home, it's Darren Clark. Will he get his gold medal at last? Kipcomboy flying out the Australian, but he's got the measure of the Kenyans. It's Darren Clark gold. Kenya get the silver and the bronze. But Darren Clark, for so long he's been trying for this gold medal. Second in 1986. Fourth at the Olympic Games. The 24-year-old has shrugged off the problems of injuries, and at last he's got himself a gold medal.
Well, the hairs on the back of my neck are standing up. And just for the record too, ran his personal best in the 400 at the 1988 Seoul Olympics, 44.38. Darren Clark, what a build-up to introduce you to the program. Darren, welcome to Breakfast with Vossy and Brandy.
Yeah, thanks, Vossy.
Do you remember? Let's go to the big question off the top. Do you remember racing?
Is my memory serving me correct, Darren?
Some skinny, pimple-faced kid from Penrith called Alexander.
Mate, no pimples at 12.
I'll tell you what, I don't actually remember, but I'll tell you, I did quite often get sort of mistaken as Greg Alexander. I don't know if Greg actually, did anyone ever think you were me, Greg, when we were younger, when you were playing footy and that?
Yeah, we did have a similar look. There's no doubt about it. But did you run it? Did you run at AEST Marks Field like as a little athletics? And did you run for Ryde?
Yes, I did.
Oh, yeah. So my memory is. And do you remember a boy that ran for Botany, and he had blonde hair, and his last name? His last name was Hannah.
That's right, Robert Hannah. He was very talented. One of the kids that he never followed through, unfortunately. But he was a very
12-year-old.
And he could long jump as well. I'll tell you something interesting about that year, Brandy. That was in 1977 at the Little Athletics State Championship final in the 400 metres. Yep. You're not going to believe this is a bit of trivia that no one really knows. The first 3 place getters in the men's 400, the under 12 400 metres at the state, Steve O'Brien, who played for the Doggies and the Tigers on the wing. Yep. Sobby, yep. He got first. Ronald Ryan, second. And I got third.
Is that right?
He played halfback for the Tigers, yeah. So all 3 Tigers players, first, second and third in the 400 in the under 12s.
We will talk about the dabble in rugby league with the Balmain Tigers, but the big focus is athletics. And You know, we're talking. Just so you know the story. Darren at one stage was tagged, quote, "fastest white man alive." Darren, with a passing of time, how does it sit with you? Obviously,
Not very well.
That tag, how does it sit with you?
I never really liked the tag much myself because, it's a little bit sort of racist in a way. Like, I just felt that, I copped a lot of flack from a lot of the American athletes when I used to go over to Europe and stuff. They thought I tagged myself that, and it was a difficult time. And I remember in Los Angeles at the Olympic Games there, 110,000 people. And when I walked out for the final there was American white guys yelling out, "Go white dude, go the white dude."
Oh,
They'd never seen a white dude run. Yeah, it was really weird.
Pressure you didn't need.
So that was as an 18-year-old, Darren. You went to the Olympics. You were still 18. You hadn't turned 19, which must be some sort of experience.
Yes, mate. Yeah, it was. It was one of those. Quite often, you don't really look back on your career that often, but I tell you that final in Los Angeles, I do get sort of nightmares. Not nightmares, but flashbacks that aren't real good because I had that one in the bag and I ended up just blowing it a bit, going out a bit too hard and fading the fourth.
So just in that final, you were leading. You were leading down the straight, or was it on the bend? But you were out in front, weren't you?
Oh, coming into the straight, I was about 5 metres clear. I smashed the world record at 300 metre mark, and I just basically pulled the trigger. It was a hard lesson to learn, but a necessary one. But to really go from that race to finally perfecting it in Auckland in 1990. It took a lot of years to actually get to the point where I could. It's not easy nutting out a perfect 400. It's just conserving your energy and giving yourself a bit. Just saving a bit to the end. But I was up against it. The Americans were pretty tough.
Can you remember your emotion having? Fourth, Los Angeles led the race, 80 to go. Then you're fourth again in Seoul. Can you remember the emotion? Oh, I've run a great race. Oh no, I've done it again. Like, what did you actually feel?
It was two different. But the Olympics in LA and Seoul were just totally different. Like in Los Angeles, I felt like I blew it a bit, and I think I was probably more of a chance of either winning or getting a medal for sure in LA. But by the time Seoul came along, it went to another level, and you had Butch Reynolds, who ended up getting busted twice for drugs. The rumours of the Americans, not being clean it was pretty bloody hard. Like they went from 44 mid to down to 43 2 was the world record by then, and it was sort of a little bit hard to take. It was the three Americans in Seoul, first, second, and third, and then it was me and the rest of the world. Probably a good couple of strides behind. I gave it everything I had, and I still hold the Australian record from the semi-final in 1988. Good fond memories of both times, and mainly because I ran my personal best and the Australian records in both finals. And then broke the Commonwealth Games gold medal. Not only gold there in Auckland, that was the Commonwealth Games record as well. So I'm really proud of the fact that I did my lifetime best on the day where it counted the most.
Yeah, Seoul Olympics. Well, and that was the Ben Johnson Olympics, wasn't it? Where if you had a look across the starting line, you go, well, who isn't on the gear? I guess Steve Lewis. Butch Reynolds, the athletes that beat you. Now, that Australian record that you ran in the semi-final in Seoul, 4:38, that still stands, as you said. It's still an Oceania record. And if you posted that time at Beijing, the Olympics, only 2 ago, you win a silver medal. Yeah. You win a silver medal, which is incredible, which says a fair bit about, because when you ran that 44:38, which is still an Australian record, is it right that you only ran third in your semi-final, or did you win that?
Yeah, yes, I did. No, the eventual gold medal winner, Steve Lewis, he won the semi-final, and Danny Everett came in second, and I came in third. But we went across the line together. It was only like a couple of hundredths of a second difference between us.
Yeah, okay.
So just to round up that point, and I think a lot of our listeners would want this asked directly, Darren. Do you believe that a majority of those that you ran against were on something? And you have to sit for the rest of your life with 2 fourth-place finishes at the Olympics.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, yes, it's 100%. The Americans were in 1984 at the Los Angeles Olympic trials. They had to sit the American team down and give them a really stern talking to, because 90% of their athletes tested positive in their US trials trying to qualify for the Olympics. So they had a meeting saying, in 6 weeks' time, you've got 6 weeks to clean yourselves up, because this can't happen again at the Olympics, right? So when the Olympics finally started, and this is all fact, coming out on the internet and that, the same thing happened. And there's a majority of the team tested positive. Well, the night before the press conference, the American team manager broke into the office and shredded all the evidence.
Wow.
And
Wow.
there's a lot of big names on the list there. But as I said, you can only worry about the things you can control. And I can't do anything about what other people want to do. But the one thing I did really pride myself on is I could look myself in the mirror and still can, knowing that I did it the right way. Yeah.
Yep, you're an incredible athlete. You really were. What a runner you were to watch as well. Now tell us about your foray into rugby league, the Tigers. Was that 91? Was it 91?
91, yeah, it was tough. I'd never been the same. My first game was against Brandy's team. Barry Walker and someone else helped me up, nearly knocked my head off the first time I got the ball at Parramatta Stadium. It was in the World Sevens. Three of them, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, I could see Barry Walker walking across and just disarmed me, and it just skimmed off the top of my head. And I thought, here we go. And then I had to mark. Then I had my next mission was against Rod Wishart in the World Sevens, and he just kept charging at me all bloody day. I felt like I'd been in a car crash.
Yeah, what a nightmare trying to tackle Wishy. Yeah, very true.
Yeah. That's amazing, though. But you ended up playing, so the Sevens, but you played a bit of reserve grade there. Did you actually enjoy the experience? Do you have any regrets about
I loved it. What I really missed in the athletics part was just it's not really a team sport, it's more individual. And I was just craving that mateship. And I went to school with Ciro and Benny Elias, and they at Holy Cross College. And so I played all of my junior league with those guys. And back in '88, after I ran the Olympics in Seoul, I remember coming back and running outside Steve O'Brien just for fun with what's his name, that coach back then for the Tigers back in '89, '88, Warren Ryan. Warren Ryan, yeah. The Wok had me down there, and I used to just do that for fun, and that sort of really sparked up the desire to want to play again. So after Auckland, winning the gold medal there, I went over to Europe, and I went from being in the best form of my life in February, and then went over to Europe in July, August, and didn't know at the time, but I got glandular fever, and I was really sick. I ended up having to come home, and I was coming last in all my races over there when I should have been winning, and I got disheartened a bit, and I really was a bit tired with it. And that's when I decided to have a crack at the game, rugby league, because I really did enjoy it. I really enjoyed the training and the feel of before the game, especially at the beginning when I was a bit of a target. But it was a good game. It was a different game then than it is now.
Yeah, it's a different game. So you were you got a chance to run out onto a Leichhardt Oval, and you as you said, you're a Holy Cross boy, so you grew up in the area. So that must have been a thrill to run out, with a big crowd at Leichhardt Oval.
Oh yeah, fantastic. I really did enjoy that part of it, and really something that if you wanted to really, like my father and my coach and and most of my friends, and they really didn't agree and think it was a very good idea because, like looking back in 1991, that year I played, the World Championships was won in a slow time. But you can't really look at it like that. I mean, my heart wasn't in it. I'd had enough by then, and I had a few injuries as well, 2 Achilles operations, and whatnot. And, my career started back in '83 at the World Championships when I was only 17. And, and as Brandy knows, starting in little athletics, from, the age of 7. And then, back then, the under-12 state championships was a big deal. It was a big deal. It's all relevant,
High pressure.
It's high pressure. In the kids' mind, it's just the same thing. It's just, in the Olympics, it's just the same kids growing up.
Exactly.
Darren Clark, our very special guest on Throwback Thursday. Darren, there's a text here from a fella he goes by Clean Snap 133. He says, "Does DC ever still wear the stretchy pants?" ? I'll let you answer that in a moment. He says, "I remember him as a keynote speaker at a work function many, many years ago. He spoke about talent, how important it was, but it would only get you so far, that without effort, you wouldn't make it to the very top." Can we answer the stretchy pants question first of all, Darren? Do you still don the lycra?
Man, I'm not really that fond of the lycra, but as a joke, sometimes I'll put it on in front of the kids and scare them.
So can you still, how's your body? Do you still run?
I mainly cycle now, Brandy. My body's not too bad. I've probably got an ACL I've got to get fixed. And I keep hurting that. And I've got 2 hernias I've got to fix. But apart from that, I'm pretty good. I cycle pretty hard, most days. And and just pretty much cycling and a bit of swimming. But I tend to keep away from I certainly don't go down and sprint. I go that. I basically go.
Yeah. Okay.
No, every time I tried that, it was a blown calf or another hemming or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have a son now training for the next Olympics. That's correct, Darren?
Yeah, that's true. My son Zen, he's running quite well actually. He's a sprinter, 200, 400, and he hasn't really started doing any 400 training yet. But we've got our sights set on the next Olympics in Los Angeles, of all places, the same places where I ran the first one. So that's going to be really something to aim for. And
how old is he? How old is he, Darren?
He's 22.
22. Okay.
Yeah. He's run 10:56 twice over the 100. So really, he's bulked up a little bit. He went into the gym, and you know what it's like. Sometimes you can put on 4 or 5 kilos of muscle, and it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to run faster. You have to be a hell of a lot stronger if you're going to carry that 5 kilos for that 5 kilo. And so he only has to look at the weight. And he just puts on muscle too easy. So he's one of those athletes that can almost stay out of the gym. And, so I've got my work cut out for me there. Trying to run, 3 or 4 kilos of muscle off is hard.
Okay, Zen Clark. All right, we've committed that to memory right now. Well, Darren, it's been fascinating to talk to you, just the brutal honesty of the career too and those around you that you competed against. But those people of my vintage and Brandy, we remember you running. You carried you were the face of the entire Australian athletics team. You were everything. Yep. You had, if Kathy Freeman had the weight of Australia on her shoulders in 2000, you had that on your back. Everyone knew Darren Clark. Extraordinary career, mate. You should be very proud of what you achieved. We count you as a great and a legend, and you don't need to be defined by gold medals. I think that's the conclusion, or that's where we reached today, mate. So, Darren, thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you very much. I must say, I was a fan of Greg, actually, followed his footy career. For work, mate. For a new career too, mate.
Good on you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Mate.
Appreciate it.
Have a rematch next week. We catch up again, But another rematch.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, two old blokes running down the street. Sounds good. Great to talk, Darren.
Thank you.
That's a great idea. That is a great idea. Brandy, would you be up for it? Put you in the lycra.
He was an incredible athlete. Now how's my memory? How's my memory?
No, you
little
nailed
athletics.
You nailed it. To get the surname of a competitor you competed against as a 12-year-old who never went on to any, no fame, but you remember him, you remember the hair colour.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. E.S. Marks Field.
That is amazing.
And
All right.
he's right. Darren's talking about, the pressure on a 12-year-old to win a state championship. It's, it's the same as what they go through in the Olympics, just different scenario. It's incredible. But great to talk Darren Clark. He did carry the flag for Australian athletics for a time there.